this.
But Rob G.
And also, I don't believe you. But
let's just. Can we call? Did I not say this in the beginning?
What did he say?
Charles Barkley criticized the Michael Jordan stuff on NBC.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't I say like when we found out that there was one long interview that they were just cutting?
So boring.
Right? Rob G. and Charles Barkley commented on it. He's already not Michael Jordan's friend, so it's probably easy for him.
It ain't his fault, though.
Right.
He just kept it real, and Mike didn't want to talk to him anymore.
Yeah, Charles Barkley's been making the rounds the last couple of days. I don't know why Rob can't get him on this show, but that's okay.
We'll get him on.
No, you're
He
selfish.
listens. He texts us.
That's why they get him on the
Get him
show.
on.
All right.
Tell him to call
Come
us.
on. Come
But
on,
in any
Chuck.
event, Charles Barkley,
Charles, we want you on the show.
We would love to
I'll
have
send
you
a
on,
text.
Charles.
We need to get Charles. He hasn't been on in a minute. I'll
given that Inside the
We've
NBA
had
is
him before.
not
Yeah.
on TV a lot, he's got time to do a couple of interviews. And earlier on Thursday, Chuck appeared on Sirius XM NBA radio, and they asked him about the Michael Jordan situation with NBC. Now, recall during the offseason when it was first announced that MJ would be joining the Peacock, we didn't know what he was going to be doing. They said it was going to be a special contributor to their NBA coverage. We didn't know if he was going to be in studio. We didn't know if he was doing interviews. We didn't know what exactly he was going to be doing.
We didn't think he'd be involved in NBA debate talk.
But
we
everybody
knew that.
was excited because he's such a recluse historically, and they wanted to hear what he had to say about the NBA. Well, now, flash forward about a year, and we know exactly what his role is. His role was to record one sit-down interview with Mike Tirico. No plans for a second one. And they were going to release clips of it throughout the season. So Chuck went on SiriusXM today and said that he was excited to get Michael because Michael's the reason we all make money from the NBA, of course. But then he says, quote, you see this thing coming out with NBC, you're like, wait, y'all did one interview 5 months ago and you're going to sprinkle it in throughout the season? Come on, man. That's disingenuous by NBC. It's crazy. I'm disappointed the way it worked out. It's just a bad look, plain and simple.
This is one of the times you hope what you thought would be true would not be the case, and it was. Michael Jordan is not the most entertaining. Michael Jordan is not the most thought-provoking, and is a complete contrast of his former best friend, Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley's honest. Charles Barkley's funny. Charles Barkley's thoughtful. You might not agree with him, but he's going to speak his mind, and he plays the game. You know, he'll play along and do stuff, and that's why he's been one of the best sports media personalities for the last 30 years. Michael Jordan hasn't. Michael Jordan wanted to get away from the fame. And so the idea of him coming back, you thought maybe, just maybe. This was very lazy. They oversold it, and it was boring, and it was a waste of time of the greatest basketball player of all time. And it was also, again, the lack of creativity. You talked about this, Rob G., so I don't want to take you. But you and I were on the phone, and you're a producer extraordinaire. We know this. You're the GOAT. And one of the things you do, I think
Rob G cheated before, but go ahead.
I hosted a show where we had to do – it was a show that aired for the whole summer. It was a national show. It was like a, reality sports kind of competition show. And you brought the idea, I had to wear certain outfits and then switch and then wear this one because this is going to be the finale, but technically we're shooting it today. And you made it work so that it could work throughout an 8-week run throughout the summer. And the idea that you just sat Michael Jordan down, same old outfit, probably did a 45-minute interview, and that was it. You didn't mix it up. You didn't switch his outfit, switch it to at least lie to us, mix it up, and make us think you're postponing these conversations. Hey, Mike, the All-Star Weekend's coming up. It meant a lot to you. What was it like playing All-Star? Hey, Mike, what made you get in the dunk contest? You already had a name. You already were this guy in the league. You still did the dunk contest. Don't you think guys should do it now? That would have been something you could have had. Hey, Mike, competition and rivalries. Let's talk about that. Were the Pistons your big rivalry? Like interesting conversations that you could have had throughout the year. Switch up the outfits. There's no creativity. They oversold it. And then to me, you lose the credibility now if you try to bounce back with anything. And Mike Tirico talked about he hopes that they do it again. He'd love to do it again. I don't want to see this again, do you? I don't think anybody wants to see it. And a little bit of hope that we had, because Mike doesn't say anything really that interesting. He doesn't really do that much. The little hope you might have had is now gone.
Charles Barkley is spot on. It was what I was concerned about after seeing the first one, and the idea that he would not be talking about the current players and dissecting or just
whatever the big
it.
news is.
Right, the news of what's going on with the league. So I'm not overly surprised, because I just thought that this is what it was going to be, and it wasn't going to be something that we thought would be great And I think that that's disappointing because I want to hear from Michael Jordan. I really do. I want to hear from him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has insight. I think he has, a know-how. He can speak to these things. And the first thing they gave us was load management. Rob G, what was that? Week two
or two into the league
and like
season.
Nobody was load managing at that time. So why was that such a big deal? It didn't even make sense. Like it the whole thing was misguided. It's a waste of God. And you're right. I do it all the time. We do a segment called A Bro You Need to Know.
Mm-hmm.
And it runs for every other week all baseball season. So I do like 13 of them.
Yep.
I change.
Yeah.
Even in 13 weeks, you know what I mean? Like I'll start out with a jacket on, and then I know that these are going to air in July. I have a short sleeve shirt on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that it looks like, okay.
Play the TV Magic game.
Right. And it's so easy to do. They could have easily had them bring 4 outfits or jackets and a different color shirt. You could even just change the shirt.
That's all you need to do.
You know, you could wear the same
He could have had a jacket on next time, just a polo underneath it. Just mix it up. It's the same. That's disrespectful to us in 2026 when there's so many different ways you can do things. Like, meaning, let's just say he was like, hey, I'm be honest with y'all, I ain't coming home. I love the comfort of my home. All right, fine. Zoom with him, but at least have some more relevant, timely conversation. Something.
But the whole idea, and this is what these are the executives, and I just don't. I get it. He's a massive star. He doesn't need your money. Okay, so then let's not do it. If you're not going to do it right,
100%.
I'd say, Mike, it's not going to make you look good.
And it's not benefiting us.
People are going to be disappointed in it. And let's just, we'd love to have you, but if you can't come in the studio and if you can't do 3 or 4 outfit changes, then we probably shouldn't do it. And shame on the producers. Rob G, speak to this. You're a producer. If I had said to you, Michael Jordan's going to do one long interview, we're going to break it up into 5 or 6 different things, you would have written questions for the course of the season. We talked about it.
Yep.
Rob G and I mentioned the same thing. All around the All-Star time. Talk about your favorite All-Star. Talk about when you won the dunk contest. Yep. People want to hear about that. How important did you think it was to be in the dunk contest and now, you know,
even though you were a star.
Right, even though you were a star, to play in the All-Star game. Are you disappointed guys don't play hard? Rob G, you would have done that.
Absolutely. Hey, the trade deadline's coming up. You've been on a lot of teams. You've had guys dealt at the deadline. How do you navigate as a leader of a team
Thank you.
when you have players who are concerned about their future with the franchise? How do you deal with it when you know that you need X, Y, and Z things added or subtracted from your roster to get to the next level? What kind of influence does the star player should have in those kind of decisions?
There's so many questions
There's so many
there.
evergreen questions I could ask you that would do a 5-minute clip or 7, whatever you want to do, and have it sound like, oh, man, Michael Jordan's really plugged into the league. And the audience would have no idea that he was recorded back.
Well, except for the same outfit.
Right.
Well, other than that, yes.
And people think that's not a big deal. Oh, no one's going to. People remember what you have on, and they'll be like.
Especially after a time or two.
Yeah,
after that, you go, all right,
now.
the
same clothes.
Yeah, I don't. It was a letdown.
Unless you're Steve Hartman and you're doing like that, you know.
Well, you know, Rob, in 1981, I used to.
Rob G.
No, but he really does wear the same shirt. So if anyone says,
well, by the way, we're not making
we
fun
did
of
not record Steve Hartman back in July doing his radio show.
Yeah.
Yes.
He just,
on
he likes those
Thursdays,
shirts.
I like to wear the black polo. It's easy. I roll out of bed. I know what I'm wearing.
I used to work for the Oakland Raiders.
You know, when I was with the Raiders, they're the one who turned me on to wearing black things. And, I was disappointed. I had very little optimism and hope because he just doesn't do this stuff the last 25 years. Obviously, when he's a player, he had good commercials and did stuff like that, but he did Space Jams. But post-playing career, he just doesn't do these things, which is why The Last Dance was such a big deal because, oh, my gosh, we haven't heard from Mike. He doesn't really do this stuff. And it was such a letdown. It was such a disappointment. And I just don't know. Like, don't do it again because Mike Tirico's like, no, if he has me back and he'll do it again, we'll definitely do it. No, Mike, we good. We good, Mike.
Guys, I got an idea that I've been marinating on all segments since you started talking about this. Obviously, Michael Jordan's reputation is unwavering. There's nothing I could say, you could say, anyone could say that's going to knock him from his perch as arguably, if not the best, the second best player in NBA history.
I'm going to say this.
Maybe
I'm dead serious. As a guy who's covered sports for 40 years, and I'm not talking about watching from home, but being at the stadiums, being at the arenas, being at the games, all kinds of stuff. An absolute privilege and thrill as a reporter to cover Michael Jordan during those playoff runs as an NBA guy.
Yeah.
I'm not even sitting courtside in Cleveland, Craig Elo.
Yep.
I saw all those things, you know what I mean, in real time and watch those things. So Rob G, I'm with you. I really think he's on that level, and I saw a lot of
probably
good
the
players.
greatest American athlete. To me, him and probably Muhammad Ali are competing.
Yeah, he's wherever you have him, it's near the top of everything, right? But here's my thought on it is I've been very disappointed in the way that he has handled his post-playing career because I feel like he's made a lot of poor decisions. He hasn't capitalized on things that you expect him to. His time as the owner of the Charlotte Bobcats at the time was a disaster. He couldn't handle criticism, so it caused him to lose a friendship with Charles Barkley. He does the last dance, which we needed at that time because there was no
world
stopped.
Dude, but Rob G, we ate off of that.
Right, but in fairness,
off of that.
In an effort to enhance his own legacy, because he was one of the final say guys in that thing, he alienated half of his team. So much so that Scotty, Horace, and someone else went on a media tour explaining their half of the story because it made it look like he was the only one responsible for everything. You know, and then you top it off with this, where he makes his triumphant return. He's been a recluse. He never talks about anything. When we saw him at Kobe's funeral, that was the first time you'd seen him in like 6 years, right, outside of the golf course.
He's definitely a recluse.
Right?
Yeah.
And then he delivers this. And it's like, we hold you in such high regard. Why do you keep letting us down?
And it could have been great. It really could have. But again, I think they're so afraid to say anything or coach him.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Right?
Do not want to rock the boat.
They don't want to coach him up or say whatever. I've heard of other players, and I'm not going to get into name, but I've heard of other players where they had to make a change, you know, because they can't take coaching, you know, or people are trying to say, hey, let's redo this because you stumbled, you did this, you did that. No, I ain't doing that again.
Scared
you know,
to ask him. Yeah.
Dude, it doesn't make sense. You're here to communicate and be on television. We're trying to make you look good. Trust us.
Imagine the segment, Rob G. He sits down in the gym with Ant Edwards. And everybody like, all right, they say you look like me, play like me. Let me see what you got. And they're just talking while they're shooting. He's showing them his elbow
People would
fade away.
watch that.
Dude, that would have been amazing to get that. But just sit down there.
And those are such simple, like, we're not reinventing the wheel
no,
with any of the ideas
but it's cool to see it from him or hear from him.
And he just, at every turn, it feels like he makes either the wrong decision or he's living off the idea, well, I'm Michael Jordan. I can do whatever
The only
I want.
reason why I'll stall him out more than what you're saying is because there haven't been catastrophes. The Bobcats was a long, slow burn. It was just boring. It didn't work for 20 years, and he finally sold us. And you're like, all right, that was whack. Meaning he didn't Tiger Woods me.
But
Tiger Woods went out in a flame. Like
it's weird because as I told you before, I interviewed him one-on-one in Louisville, Kentucky. You know, a preseason game down there. And he had just done Saturday Night Live, which he was really funny on that. I don't know if you remember, he did a Saturday Night Live, and he was funny. They wrote him some good stuff.
Right.
He did the Bears. He was a part of that group and all that, and he's saying the Bears. You know, it was really funny. And so I've seen that side of him, and I get it. He's older. He's a recluse for the most part, and it's just weird that he would even sign on for it. And I don't know. Maybe they just gave him so much money.
I don't think it was the money.
I'm just saying, it's an ego thing. Tom Brady got 37.5. They said he got something close to that. Like, they said that it was something close to that. Google it. I'm telling you. I don't know what the exact number. But
that's
still,
a lot for one interview. My gosh. If
seriously.
If it was anything over $5 million for 1 hour,
it was something
interview.
They said was a large amount of money to get Michael Jordan.
Well, let me tell you about the biggest L in TV history. That.
I'm going to blow your socks off, guys. Now, there is controversy on the number.
Okay, but it's a number.
The numbers that are being reported, between $40 and $80 million.
I told you. The 40 is a low number.
Well, let me ask you, is it
40.
over years, though? Meaning 40, 80, like 40?
It doesn't say. It says indicates he was paid between $40 and $80 million.
Yeah, so if you're telling me 4
years,
years, $40 million, okay, then it's $10 million for Michael Jordan. That makes more sense.
4 interviews a year.
Yeah, it's still crazy, but it makes sense.
Dude,
if you're telling me it's 1 year, 40 to 80
even
is
in
crazy.
that case, Tom Brady at least has to do 17 football games. You talking about one sit down that they chop into 6 interviews? Come on, man.
And you know Mike Tirico had to do all the work. He's like, I can't get none of that 40. All right, Rob, so they're watching us right now, which means another thing they can do is what?
They can subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe to The Odd Couple for some of the best sports talk content in the nation.
Facts, and while you're at it, they can like, they can comment, they can share. Do all that for us. We appreciate it. Just do all that right up in here.